Well, hello and welcome to this session of ExecuNet Master Class. I'm your host, as always, Tony Vlahos, and my guest this hour is an international career and leadership coach, author, and Senior Forbes contributor, and her name, as you might have guessed, is Kathy Caprino. So, who among us hasn't dreamed every so often about changing up their professional vision, venturing out, pursuing a passion, and taking on something fresh, challenging, and new? If you're thinking this way, well, you'll be glad you tuned in because today Kathy will share the important steps you need to take to start on the path to career transformation. And today's expert-led session is a part of our daily commitment here at ExecuNet to helping senior level people find their next great next. That's all coming up in a few moments, but first I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my guest today. And Kathy is dedicated to helping professionals build rewarding, successful careers of significance. A former corporate VP, she is also a trained therapist, a top media source on careers, and the author of two best-selling books, Breakdown, Breakthrough, and her latest book, The Most Powerful You, 7 Bravery-Boosting Paths to Career Bliss. With her Finding Brave podcast, books, assessments, coaching programs, courses, and other key career resources, Kathy's been named a top career coach in the US and internationally. With that really brief intro, welcome back, Kathy, to the ExecuNet stage. They are all yours.
Okay, so we are talking today about number one, the top mistakes career changers make, the 7 damaging power gaps that keep professionals from thriving, 6 dominant action styles and why it's important that you know what yours is in order to build a happier career. And finally, 5 simple steps to boost and transform your career. Okay. Before I even get into this, I want to give you a little bit, my bio. Thank you, Tony, for reading that, but a little bit of context about where this comes from. I had an 18-year corporate career in marketing and publishing, successful on the outside, not successful on the inside, but I didn't understand what's going on here. How can I change this? How can I make it better? I didn't understand any of this information. And after 9/11, I was laid off in a way that was really pretty brutal. And I made a very big change, and I became a marriage and family therapist and did that for several years. And for 16 years, I have been a career and leadership coach. I do target mostly mid to high level professional women, but I work with a lot of men in a lot of different capacities. So what you're hearing here is everything I have learned in coaching thousands of people in 26 countries and 6 continents. But also I have a Forbes blog and a podcast, Finding Brave, and I'm interviewing every week top movers and shakers in leadership, business, entrepreneurial life, careers. So that's what I'm drawing on in everything that I'm sharing with you, including what I did to transform my career twice. So I'm guessing that you are here today, and thank you for being here. I know you're as crushingly busy as I am, that you are one of these things, if not more. You're ready for a change in how you work and what you're focused on. You want to experience more reward, joy, and success. You want to be respected and valued doing work that is meaningful to you. Your work or career isn't aligned with who you think you really are or who you feel that you are. You haven't experienced progression or advancement in the way that you had hoped or the way you feel you deserve. Or you don't know what you want, but you know it's not what you have. I mean, that's the great reevaluation, the great resignation. So many millions of people have awakened to the idea that, wait a minute, what I'm doing here no longer works, and I'm going to figure this out. And you're ready for more, different, and better. I don't know, Tony, if you're okay with this, but I'd love to see if people resonate with anything I say on a slide. If they give a yes or a smiley face or a thumbs up, that would be wonderful for me to see. So let me know if these are the key reasons that you're here. Okay. So what is needed? Wonderful. I love it. Oh, fantastic. What is needed for a better, more rewarding career? If you're going to make a change, obviously you don't want a change that isn't satisfying, that isn't thrilling. I think, I'm going to make the assumption that most of us don't just want to work for a paycheck. Now, money's important. Fulfilling your financial obligations is incredibly important, but we want more than that. We work a lot of days, a lot of hours every day of our lives. So I think that for a better and more rewarding career, these are the things we need. And I'm going to get into all of this in greater detail. We need clarity. We need to understand who we are, what we have to offer, why that's essential, why that's valuable, why a hiring manager would want that. And we also have to have confidence. And sometimes what happens in our careers really breaks down our confidence. And I know it did for me, after getting laid off and going through, frankly, sexual harassment, gender discrimination, toxic colleagues, narcissistic bosses, zero work-life balance. I faced so many challenges that rocked my confidence. But if you're struggling with confidence, we have to find a way to infuse and boost your confidence now. We can't wait, because that will get in the way of you getting a better job or, pivoting your career in a way you want. We also need more courage. And I'm going to get into a whole few slides about that. So many of us who have stayed in particular fields or jobs or companies, we've lost the ability to be brave. I know that sounds harsh, but I'll get into that in a minute. We also need connection. You can't do this alone and in a vacuum. And so many people, and particularly introverts who find networking challenging, they are not connected. They don't have mentors. They don't have sponsors. They don't have a support community. So if you want a career pivot, you must build a support community starting this very minute. And I'm going to give you some strategies for that too. And finally, and if you're hearing my upstairs neighbor jackhammering their floor, I ask your forgiveness for that. Finally, we need commitment. It's not just going to fall in your lap. There's work that has to be done. So you have to be committed and you have to keep going. You have to believe that the job is there for you, the role. You can create it, you can find it, but you need commitment. Okay. So before we get into these 5 steps that I'm going to tell you about how to change and pivot your career, I want to quickly talk about the 5 biggest mistakes career changers make. I have made all of these mistakes. The people that come to me for help for private coaching and in my courses are making these mistakes. We have to avoid these because these are costly in time, in money, in energy. So here they are. Number 1, I call it the pendulum effect. And what that means is you stay so long in one particular direction or one job or one company, and you feel broken down in it. And so by the time you make a change, you're ready to run to the farthest end of the earth. I see this so often. I see people in digital marketing who say, I can't stand it. I can't stand the hours. I have no work-life balance. I'm going to go off and run a bed and breakfast, something completely different. What I want to help you understand is before you make a leap to something very different, before you chuck what you have, I want to make sure that you are changing yourself now before you try to make changes in your job, in your career, that you are becoming braver, more confident, more assertive. Your boundaries are better. Your work-life balance is better, that you are not running away, because I guarantee you, if you don't address what isn't working now, it will reappear in the new job. Okay. And if you have questions, definitely write them in the Q&A. I know I'm going fast. Mistake number 2 is leaping without a financial plan. Many of you are top-level executives. There are financial responsibilities, family, children, your home. But what a lot of people do is decide they want to make a transition to a new field, but they don't have a financial transition plan for that, right? So that will be important. If you're going to try something new or try a new industry, you might be paid less. You will need to understand what the impact will be financially before you make that leap. Mistake number 3 is what I call glomming onto the wrong form of work. Now, here's what I mean. A lot of people want to pivot, but they think where they're going will make them happy, but they have no understanding if that's actually true.